Welcome to Great Chefs of the World, a culinary survey featuring premier chefs from around the globe.
The start of this time comes from the Burgundy region of France. Bernard Loiseau prepares a velvety mushroom soup using porcinis, garlic puree, and milk. Then for an entree, we travel to Vienna, Austria. Alfred Kaiser goes to his Styrian roots with oxtail stew served with semolina dumplings and asparagus. Dessert is offered from Dublin, Ireland. Thomas Kitka features rice pudding flavored with star anise, vanilla, and orange zest, presented with peach sorbet. Bernard Loiseau is the chef-owner and force majeure of La Côte d'Or in Salou. In addition, the three-star chef owns two restaurants on the left and right bank of the Seine in Paris. Tante Marguerite and Tante Louise both offer Burgundian comfort food, like this first course, mushroom soup.
Bonjour, je suis Bernard Loiseau, donc restaurateur à Saulieu en Bourgogne. Et donc nous allons vous préparer la soupe de cèpe. Voici les ingrédients, des cèpes bien fermes, petits cèpes magnifiques.
The chef describes the ingredients he will use. These are porcini mushrooms. They've been trimmed and sliced. He says they smell very good. He'll also use poultry stock, milk, butter, garlic puree, salt, and pepper.
Sel et poivre du moulin.
As the chef prepares to sauté the mushroom slices, we'll revert to the direct translation from Marc Cosnard de Closet.
We put them one by one at a time. Put the mushrooms in the butter.
Porcini mushrooms are very difficult to find fresh in the States. Generally, they are purchased dried and require rehydration before use. They have a very strong woodsy flavor and an almost meaty texture.
Voilà.
And we make them golden brown on each side.
Voilà, bien doré.
See, now they're golden brown.
Après,
Next,
une fois que le cèpe est bien doré,
once it's
on met
golden
le jus de
brown,
volaille dedans.
we put the poultry stock in with it to deglaze.
Et de faire dorer les cèpes.
You have to
Avec
really,
le fond de volaille donne plus de goût au cèpe. Le cèpe était comme ça, nature, sans
by,
sans le poêler.
by
ça,
browning
c'est moins bon.
the mushrooms, it gives much more flavor to the poultry stock once you add it.
Après, assaisonner,
Then we season a
sel,
little bit of salt,
poivre du moulin.
fresh pepper,
Voilà. Et maintenant, on laisse les cuire à plus.
and now we let it cook for 10 minutes. The whole point of my cooking is cooking without fat. We want to do natural cuisine. We only use some butter to lightly brown it, and the rest of it is with water.
maintenant dans le blender pour faire la purée, pour faire la soupe de cèpe. Voilà. Et maintenant mixte. Vas-y.
C'est là où on coupe.
Vas-y, mets le couvert.
What are you doing? We have to add, then we add a little bit of garlic puree. Then we strain it. We strain the mixture. This way we get the flavor of the porcini. It's a really nice flavor. It's very strong. See, we removed everything we didn't want, all the impurities, and we just have the velvety soup. And whisk it well. There, it's perfect. And this is the soup. And no cream, no butter, natural, and lots of flavor. Natural cuisine, lots of flavor. You put a little bit of milk. And there we have the perfect consistency. There's a perfect soup. And here we have some fried porcini garnish. It has to be crunchy. We put this at the last minute of the soup. That way, when we eat it, we have the crunchy mushroom. And this we fry. Yeah, that's the whole dish. There you go.
One of Vienna's most popular lunch spots is the Black Camille restaurant. Since 1990, the kitchen is overseen by Styrian native Alfred Kaiser. He's worked at numerous restaurants on the continent, including a sous chef position at the Hotel Imperial. Here is oxtail stew and dumplings.
Ochsenschlepp nimmt man.
The stew is begun by cutting an oxtail at the joints.
In Scheiben. Besser ist es, wenn Sie den Ochsenschlepp vom Fleischhauer zerlegen lassen.
The oxtail joints are seasoned with salt and freshly ground black pepper.
Der Mühle und brät ihn in heißem Fett kurz an.
The oxtail pieces are browned in oil.
Okay. Dann nimmt man den angebratenen Ochsenschlepp kurz auf den Teller.
The browned oxtail pieces are removed and set aside.
Gibt es vorbereitete Karotten,
Diced orange and yellow carrots, which are not as sweet as their orange cousins, are added. Diced celery root and onion are also sautéed. Some of the oxtail pieces are retained for flavor.
röstet das Gemüse.
Mustard and tomato paste are added to the browned vegetables before deglazing the pan with red wine and stock. The oxtails are returned to the pan.
Röstet es noch mal ganz kurz durch. Mit Rotwein ablöschen. Mit einer Bouillon. Und gibt den angebratenen Ochsenschlepp wieder dazu.
Fresh thyme and 2 bay leaves are added. The stew is covered and cooked for 1.5 to 2 hours.
Und lässt den Ochsenschlepp circa 1,5 Stunden bis 2 Stunden dünsten. Als erstes machen wir die Grießknödel.
In Austria, a stew such as this virtually cries out for dumplings. After all, without dumplings, how would one soak up all the succulent juices? Not to mention sate one's hunger after only 2 or 3 first courses. Chef Kaiser answers that cry with his own version of semolina dumplings. 100 grams, or about 3.5 ounces of unsalted butter, are creamed. 2 eggs are added to the creamed butter.
Rühre das glatt. Gebe den Grieß dazu.
200 grams, or about 7 ounces of semolina, are added.
Mit bisschen Salz, Muskat,
The dumplings are seasoned with salt, nutmeg, and white pepper.
Pfeffer.
Cubed white bread is stirred into the batter. After the dumplings are formed, they are chilled for 10 minutes prior to cooking.
Jetzt geben wir die Knödel
The dumplings are placed in salted boiling water. They are simmered for 10 to 12 minutes.
Und lassen ca. 10 bis 12 Minuten darin ziehen.
The Viennese consider asparagus as part of the earth's greatest bounty, and compared to other vegetables, it is generally prepared very simply. Here Chef Kaiser adheres to that philosophy. The yellow and green asparagus is peeled. The tips are then steamed.
Noch ein circa 60. Man nehme den Ochsenschlepp.
Presentation begins with stewed oxtail pieces.
Die schon zwar verkocht sind.
Sauce is strained onto the plate. Conrad Gallagher's Peacock Alley in Dublin got so popular so fast that it had to be moved to larger buildings, twice. At taping time, the pastry chef at the restaurant was Thomas Kitka. Born in Hamburg, Germany, he got into pastry simply. His father was a baker. Here is rice pudding tart.
Cooking the milk rice that we prep a little forehand because it boils for about 20 minutes. And heat it up on a slight body temperature. Pâte sablé, it's a short crust pastry that we bake forehand because it takes quite a while. We mold it in either a cylindric or a half round shape so that we can fill in the milk rice. The milk rice is halfway warm and pretty creamy. We have to prepare the peach itself that we destone and cut up in little slices so that we can drop it on the rice later on if filled in. You have to make care not to fill it too much so that it spills out later on.
The rice pudding contains something called pudding rice, which is probably a short grain variety which exudes more starch and absorbs liquid readily. It's made with milk, cream, sugar, and flavored with star anise, vanilla, and orange zest.
Once we spin the cut peach, we have to make sure that it stands halfway solid so that we can place the sorbet on top of it without it breaking down later on. This is that cut. Using some little icing sugar on it before we give it into the oven so that this can caramelize and give it a nice flavor as well as color.
At 350 degrees for 5 minutes.
Which accompanies the peach.
and goes with it original flavor. This is one white chocolate sauce. A raspberry coulis. And a peach caramel.
Chopped pistachios.
Oh no.
The dish is placed under a salamander to brown the top.
Once I'm taking the rice out of the oven, I gotta be pretty careful because the pâte sablé, it's getting some softer because of the rice. So place this right in the middle of the plate. Make sure that it's not too slippy. And it's scooped on top of it.
The peach sorbet is made with peach puree, water, sugar, glucose, and a little peach liqueur.
You got to be very careful with that, not to destroy the original arrangements. Top of that, we have a sugar garnish, which is just a caramel garnished with some chopped pistachio again. Et voilà.